On a remote island near Australia, locals have been transfixed by a very unusual sight. A 52-metre-long SpaceX rocket has been drifting off the coast of Christmas Island, some 1,500 kilometres off the coast of Western Australia. This massive piece of space debris has spent 24 days at sea, and locals have been lining the rugged coastline to catch a glimpse of it as it was towed in. The spacecraft was launched in Texas on the 24th of July as part of the 13th test of the technology. The Starship reached orbit and released 20 non-functioning satellites before the upper part of the rocket re-entered the atmosphere. It then landed in the ocean. Engineers from Elon Musk's SpaceX have now retrieved the rocket and are analysing it. The initial recovery operation was hampered, however, by rough seas. Well, David Watchorn is a resident of Christmas Island, chair of its tourism association. He told us about the surprise that he had when he first spotted the rocket just floating in the sea.
I just drove to work one morning in my 2-minute commute on Christmas Island, pulled up at our diving centre, scuba diving centre, got out of the car and looked out to what I thought was three ships, some ships which are quite common. Looked a bit closer and then realised it was a rocket, a space rocket, just out at sea that was being towed. I was able to get my crew together. We got the boat off the jetty and went out to have a look. Some visitors that were at the local cafe, they walked out. They didn't really realise, and I stopped them and pointed out that there was a space rocket out at sea, which they didn't initially believe me, but we were able to take a few out snorkeling today and get really close to it.
Extraordinary, isn't it? Let's talk about it with Alice Gorman, who's a space archaeologist and associate professor at Flinders University based in Adelaide. Welcome to the programme. Just how rare is something like this, seeing this enormous rocket just bobbing up on the sea?
It's pretty rare. Normally these rockets break up before they reach land or sea intact. And normally a lot of space junk simply burns up in the atmosphere, so people don't even realise that it's coming in every day. So to see a whole rocket of this size floating intact in the ocean, a pretty amazing sight.
So is it a mistake that it didn't burn up and break apart?
It was intended to land upright to test the feasibility of sending something reusable back from orbit. So this was all part of the plan, but it was a test launch. So if something had gone wrong, that was kind of also expected. But normally the impact of coming through the atmosphere and then hitting the ocean, it often breaks rockets apart. So it's extraordinary that this one landed whole. It didn't sink. It didn't release any toxic fuel into the environment. So it's a pretty good result for SpaceX.
We're hearing more and more about this kind of space junk that is incredibly damaging even tiny little particles. Should we be concerned about having something this size land back on Earth?
Something this size is not going to be launched that frequently for a while, but the intention is Elon Musk is envisaging a launch of the Starship, on a daily basis. So if they perfect that reusable return to Earth technology, that's great for the Starship. But we're going to see more spacecraft re-entering from orbit, and the sheer number of the anticipated spacecraft means that more parts will survive intact to Earth, usually parts of the fuel system. So we do have an increased risk that people or property or environmental harm might happen.
What can the scientists learn from this then?
From this Starship re-entry, one of the key things is how the heat shield performed. So that's all the ceramic tiles that you can see on the outside. Some of them definitely burnt up when it re-entered, but a lot of them are still present. The Starship is going to be used to actually send people, humans, to and from the moon. So how that heat shield performs is absolutely critical to their ability to survive coming back to Earth. So this is what the scientists are going to be particularly interested in now, how that heat shield survived.